This is Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Well, I know it was Medgar Evers' birthday yesterday. He would have been 93, and I hold him in such high esteem because they can't find no dirt on Medgar. I mean, it's like he was a straight alpha guy who cared about his family, willing to die for what he believed in. He was for the cause. And every time I talk to somebody who knew or worked with Medgar, they always had great things to say about him. There's no orgasm the night before.
There's some down brothers. There's some brothers that are all right.
Yeah. But it is hard to come by, man. Just say even Dr. King, like when you find the JFK files, they talk about Dr. King having all these strange sex habits, supposedly, allegedly. And that's what people like to focus on.
I won't say anything about that.
I mean, I know you're an alpha guy. You're an alpha guy, too.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying I don't say anything about that.
Mm-hmm.
On King's thing, my mission is to expose the FBI and the U.S. government for its complicity in having him murdered.
I agree. So why could you trust anything that comes from J. Edgar Hoover or FBI when it concerns King? Why would anybody act like that's a legitimate piece of evidence?
Well, the rifle that shot him was invoiced to the FBI. The ammunition of the type that was used to shoot him, a large quantity was invoiced to the FBI. There were 5 of these rifles invoiced in late December 1967. King was murdered at the beginning of April 68, and at the end of April 68, when the Defense Department was demanding the return of these 5 rifles, the FBI claimed on inventory they could only find 4 of them. I've seen the invoices or copies of them.
Yeah, and that's disturbing because the narrative at the Civil Rights Museum won't change. Like you said, they got the wrong weapon on display, and they refuse to change the narrative.
Technically, they never should have accepted Ray's plea to begin with because he entered an A.L.L. Ford plea, and as I used to tell defendants, A.L.L. Ford stands for the proposition that even if you are innocent, you may plead guilty so long as you do so freely, voluntarily, understandingly, knowingly, advisedly, intelligently, and this is the important thing, the state has a factual basis upon which to proceed otherwise. So the only factual basis they had was the rifle. Now, interestingly enough, what the obvious flaw with their whole case was that the FBI said they couldn't identify Ray's rifle as being the one that fired the fatal bullet. That's the FBI. Now, when I had the rifle retested, that was only verified. The rifle was not consistent with the fatal bullet. The fatal bullet was fired out of a rifle with a rate of rifling twist of 1 turn in every 11 1/4 inches. The only way to get a rifle like that in 1967, 68 was to have a custom barrel. And the U.S. government, through the Army Marksmanship Unit, made 63 of these barrels and made up 62 of these rifles made by a company known as Psionics. It's basically a rebarreled M14 that has been bedded in the stock using fiberglass resin and all of the parts finely lapped and fitted to each other so you get an accurate rifle. They had a suppressor made by the Psionics company that was mounted on it, a 3 to 9 power Redfield variable telescopic sight that was modified to auto range by a company known as Leatherwood. And it was issued with a quantity of subsonic ammunition that, amongst other things, had an epoxy resin to partly fill the case so that you would not have problems with exploding the ammunition when you tried to download it so it would not be supersonic. Well, guess what? The base of the bullet material that is in the record has the same kind of epoxy showing on the bottom, which is not typical for that brand of ammunition that they claim was supposed to have been shot out of that rifle.
Mm-hmm.
And I measured the rate of rifle twist myself in the evidence room using my own tools.
Mm.
So I know that there is something strange going on. That's not the rifle. So the FBI said they couldn't make an identification. The first judge, Preston Battle, ordered it retested. They never did do it. And then after the plea was taken the day later, he gave a press conference. He said he was sure that Ray was guilty, but he was also sure he did not act alone. Now, the other thing, too, is Ray might have been guilty as an accessory because what you had was essentially a conspiracy. So to be any part of the conspiracy means you're equally guilty of the crime as anybody else. And it looks to me, from what I saw on that record, that you had 3, 4, maybe 5, but perhaps no more than 4 alternative scapegoats who were primed to go commit the crime, but who did not, and actually seemed to have gotten freaked out by the commission of the crime. But they just happened to be around to be scapegoated. It was a 2-man hit team that pulled the shot off from the fire station dormitory cafeteria, not from the flop house and not from the bushes. Problem with the bushes is somebody with a rifle down there would have been visible from Main Street for 4.5 hours. There was a cop down there that was supposed to have had one, but the excuse they had for him was he was doing overwatch.
Mm.
So, yeah, the FBI had something to do with it. It would be circumstantial evidence that with a bit more would be sufficient to convict somebody.
So you think there's still so should people still pursue this? Or trying to convict somebody for Dr. King's assassination until we had to see
Well,
the
I don't
trial?
think you'll ever get the names of the people involved, but you can know what happened and who was behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were enough incriminating memos wherein Hoover had somebody write them for him, where somebody at least next below Hoover would have been in a lot of trouble.
Well, people think like it's Clyde Tolson, is that his second in command, his lover? Will he be that person?
Hoover was his lover.
Mm-hmm.
Person that would actually have been in hot water up until very recently on that was his third in command, who turned out to be Claude Armour, police commissioner and fire commissioner for the city of Memphis.
Mm. You mean Frank Holloman or?
Claude Armour.
Okay. So basically it was an inside job with Dr. King. It was like, was it okay by, I guess, the deep state, as people call it now, the deep state, where you say the deep state killed Dr. King?
The what state?
They call it the deep state, you know, like the shadow government, like not the, you know, post office and all that.
Government is just that pervert J. Edgar Hoover. And see, Hoover is like Clarence Thomas in that he's black and he hates black people.
Mm-hmm.
You can check out the History Channel. In the last few months, they've gone into Hoover.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that's interesting about Hoover was his just rabid detestation of the Klan. Now, why was he so against the Klan if he's supposed to be about the business he was supposed to be about? Well, it seems that the Klan burned a bunch of crosses in his parents' yard because his parents were being accused of, guess what, passing for white.
Mm.
Now, if you look at young Hoover, pictures of young Hoover show you somebody that looks like Harold Ford Jr.
Yeah, I see that. Mm.
So Hoover was a black man trying to hide it. And just like Clarence Thomas, sometimes you can hate your own people.
So,
even Malcolm X says sometimes to know your own people is to hate them.
mm. So would it be reasonable, I mean, since people are all about taking down Confederate statues, to rename the FBI building, like that, take the Hoover name out the building, or to keep it on there as a reminder?
Hoover was a pervert. He did a lot of damage to the country and setting stuff up for precedents. His focus on communism, his denial of the fact that the mob existed because he was a gambler, and the mob was into him for a lot of debts that he owed them, and his homosexuality that they had documented. He wasn't really a bona fide somebody for the position he was in.
Mm. Wow. So it's something that people need to research and know for themselves. I mean, I think it's very important information, Judge, you're putting out there. And yet again, sometimes you got to repeat this information because people say they don't understand it unless it's like LeBron James highlights or something, or their favorite rapper's lyrics.
Everybody knows about LeBron, but they don't know about what else is going on. See, how did the FBI get started?
Right.
You know?
Taking on Jack Johnson?
That's it. And then they came up with the Mann Act when that wasn't successful. See, J. Edgar Hoover's job was to interview the prostitutes in the New York City brothels.
Mm-hmm.
And he discovered in interviewing them that so many politicians had been using their services that he got a lot of blackmail information.
Mm-hmm.
And after World War I, when the FBI had been used to gather lightweight espionage information, it was given the responsibility for keeping the records on legal production of alcohol after Prohibition kicked in. So that's why FBI agents for a long time had to be either attorneys in a tax specialization or certified public accountants, not your ideas of a badass running around with a pistol. So they brought in special agents like Elliot Ness and that bunch, and Melvin Purvis, who were essentially homicidal maniacs that they brought in. And interestingly enough, Purvis, Ness, and several others who had gone after and gotten all of these public enemies, they seem to have all decided they hated themselves. And in 1949, within the period of 6 or 7 weeks, they all killed each other or killed themselves. Sounds to me like Hoover had been in the business of committing murder anyway when it suited his purpose.
So, but you got to have some dirt, to have some power, right? You can't be clean and have power, right? They got to have something on you.
Yeah, Johnson was going to take him out. Johnson did not play with him.
Oh, Lyndon B. Johnson?
The Kennedys had a problem. Hoover was trying to blackmail JFK with some tapes that purportedly recorded him having sex with several other men in a certain house the FBI claimed that they were holding under surveillance for organized crime purposes. See, there's all kinds of things back there. And now, it's their business, but it's sort of been a weakness some of the so-called leadership has happened to show. They call it being in bed with somebody, literally.
Now, I know I heard, I don't know if you think about this, like JFK had a real close high school or childhood friend named Lem Billings. They used to live in the White House. They said he probably was one of his homosexual lovers. Have you heard about that guy? This guy named Lem Billings. He was a friend of the family, real close friend of JFK. He actually had a room in the White House.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I said, that's interesting. I guess he went both ways, huh? He was bisexual, pansexual, what the hell they call themselves now.
Actually, we talked about that before in terms of Star Wars on Solo.
Yeah.
They had about that Lando Calrissian character that got in here. Except I went and saw the thing, and that's not what's going on here. What happens is he has the Millennium Falcon, right?
Yeah.
The famous starship. All right.
Mm-hmm.
His co-pilot is a robot.
Mm.
And she's got a very female character.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of these James Bond girls, all right? And they are real close, and the robot is AI, artificially intelligent. So with her character, they've never had anything other than a platonic relationship. She likes him, loves him, and it may be reciprocity in that, but it's more like she's a real good, very close friend and confidant of him, of his. She just happens to be a robot. So they didn't even show Lando getting into anything with anybody or anything.
But they are doing heavy on the sauce when it comes to type of relationships, like in all these TV shows and movies, and like you said, even cartoons. You can't escape that gay agenda thing. And sometimes very subliminal, sometimes very blunt and direct, but it's there all the time.
The people that bought Marvel Comics out are promising LGBT they will either invent or convert a total of 50% of their superheroes into being gay. I don't know about you, but I doubt that 50% of the population is gay.
No, in spite of all their best intentions and what they're trying to do. But I don't seem like
tell a lie long enough and get anybody to believe it. But like I said, it's their right to do it. We ought to take note of how they did it and do the same thing.
I agree with you. You do your thing.
For the benefit of the family. We need to do something about imposing families again. See, that's stuff where the babes get out there and decide they want to play mama and get knocked up.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets some bad situations. Get married first, but they don't believe in that anymore. So we've got a situation whereas 7 years ago, what we had was 42% of all Americans 35 and under were born out of wedlock. And that's for all races and ethnicities, including white folks. And somewhere around 80+% of all Americans 20 and younger were born out of wedlock. That's not good.
Hey, Judge, you coming in low. I don't know what happened.
Well, hell no. I just said what happens is for Americans under 20, it showed up that approximately 80% were born out of wedlock. That's getting ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, where is the morality?
But you're telling that we the byproducts of the free love era, right? We came out of that,
Yeah, well, the free love area, but you can do this, drop back 20 years, and what do you get? 20 from 2010, which is when they got their statistics.
Mm-hmm.
That's back to 1990.
Mm-hmm.
Free love was from 1964 to about 1975.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little early. That free love ended 15 years before that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the feminist side of things. They took that as, it's supposed to be not free love, but liberating yourself from men. They look at being married as a form of slavery.
Okay.
Which is not good.
Mm-hmm. I guess
that's one of the things on politics now. I guess they're feeling their oats and they are determined to get a woman in as president, whether or not she's got any qualifications. They've got this set of women out of California, but I don't think they should be allowed to be dog catchers, really. Let alone U.S. senators and congresswomen, and certainly not the president.
Yeah, I just think it's getting kind of like, like people just claiming that they are qualified because they're a woman to do anything.
Yeah. Well, that's like we got stuck with that. See, we wanted a black man so badly, we got a fake one for president.
Man, he just, wow.
See, like if you died tomorrow, you got this so-called heaven, and black people up there saying, well, I hear we got a black president. Yeah? Well, which one of us is his ancestor? None of you.
Yeah, that's it.
In other words, he has no family member or no ancestor who's been through the American black experience. If you don't have an ancestor who's been through the experience, you're not an American black person. And he did not grow up in mainland USA.
Right. Yeah, we know he's a very exotic background. Yeah, he's a very exotic background. But I just think he's out of central cast in Hollywood. Like you say, he's a chick lit matinee idol. And like I said, we like you said earlier, like this is all about believing and stuff now. It's about religion. We treat our politics like religion. It's like feel good stuff, especially the black church way. You're just emotional, feel good. It's not about. I think black folks, we are the only group of people that don't ask for anything from our politicians. Even illegal immigrants ask for stuff from the politicians. We don't ask for nothing from these politicians. We just like to be happy and just blase.
Remember the starter jacket?
Yeah. You're correct. Don't know nothing about sports, but you wearing them starter jackets just because you want to fit in or want to be a part of something.
See, being black to a lot of people is not a good thing. But being part of the Democratic Party apparatus is a legitimate thing in the minds of some. So to go along with what the Democrat Party wants is to be part of the group, even if you never get anything out of it.
Yeah. I didn't see that. I was just praying, said, please, ancestors, please, God, do not make Maxine Waters a model and ancestor, because she's not deserving on the road. I mean, she is not deserving of being a martyr at all. Like she's talking about the death threats from last week. I mean, she ain't doing it but running her mouth and being mean-wordy. I mean, she's an internet sensation. She's Auntie Maxine. But what is she doing for the black folks out of California?
Nothing.
Right. But people love her. They love the fact she does nothing and runs her mouth. I mean, I don't know what her legacy going to be. Reclaim my time. And I once called out the government for introducing crack into the black communities back in the 90s. I don't know what her legacy really is. And I think a lot of her so-called fans don't know. But like I said, we don't really ask for anything.
See, here's the deal. You get way out of line when you start telling people in your party to go attack people in the other one physically.
Right.
And
that's what she did.
Mm-hmm. That's like Charlottesville.
Yeah.
See, the way we talked in the 60s, yeah, the sister gonna be a martyr. We can use her for the cause.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to convince some of these far-right orangutans that they ought to take her out.
Right.
And he's just selling wolf tickets.
Yep.
Now, see, she will induce all these little crazy nerds to get up and act ugly up in somebody else's face. And then she'll get those real Johnny Ribs getting up in her face, and let's see how she like it.
Oh, yeah. So let's play like Texas and Alabama. You don't play down there. No, pickup truck with Calvin and Hobbes stickers on the back. Pickup trucks with Confederate flags.
Yeah. See, they'll mistreat her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what are you complaining about? You said your folks should do the same to the other side.
And that's what Trump was saying. You saying you telling people to attack my people or my base? I mean, he didn't say he was threatening her, but like he was threatening her. That like the media said, well, Trump threatened Maxine Waters. I didn't see it like that.
Telling a good sense. Watch your step. Quiet is kept.
Right. That's just common sense. You know, she the one starting the fire.
Yeah. See, he just said, I know these people.
That was funny.
Now, people will listen to you, but it might not be the right one you want.
Right. That's right. But I mean, I just think it's just, man, it's like, it's ridiculous. Even with, what are your feelings about the press secretary being, you know, not able to be served at the place with Red Hen in Virginia? How they refused to serve her or anybody from Trump's administration.
I think that's ridiculous. Let's reverse that.
Okay.
I didn't want to serve him because he was an Obama supporter.
Mm-hmm.
See what you opened the door for?
Yeah. But see, I recall even, you know, some years ago, you remember back in Annapolis, Maryland, where the Secret Service would refuse service at the Denny's. At the Denny's, the Secret Service, the black Secret Service men would refuse service. And, you know, black folks still eat at Denny's. You know what I'm saying? But that was some years ago. I remember driving past that Denny's in Annapolis in Maryland, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So I guess it does happen.
See, Denny's is a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Like Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
Starbucks inappropriately called the police on those three brothers that time.
Yeah, in Philadelphia, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But see, Magic Johnson owns almost 30 of the franchises.
Mm-hmm.
So are you mad at the parent company or just to the franchise owner who can pretty much do what the hell he wants to do?
Yeah. Well, like you say, the franchise owner means like it's the culture, you know, it's local, but you know, it's a national chain, but it's like locally owned. So I think that what they did was fair in terms of responding to the situation. Because like I said, we talked about this before. I never had a problem going to any Starbucks around the country in terms of using the restroom or being allowed to stay in the place for hours at a time.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Me either.
Same thing with, but what about these things with Waffle House, though? Like the guy, he saved the people at Nashville Waffle House. Then you had one Waffle House where they dragged the black woman down on the ground. And I believe another Waffle House where a man was attacked, or a teenager, I believe, was attacked by the police. I think a Waffle House in, I think, North Carolina or the Carolina, somewhere around that area. And yet, we still go to Waffle House.
Look, here's the thing. I've been eyewitness to some stuff on multiple occasions of things that came out a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when I've seen them, I said, boy, they did that brother wrong, or they did that sister wrong. And it came out, or it might not have come out in the paper or the news that somebody got jacked around.
Mm-hmm.
I've been places and seen folk, and I said, man, fool ought to know he had that coming.
Right.
Yeah, you don't act like that out in public.
Mm-hmm.
And then seeing that person hollering later on about how badly he got mistreated. And my reaction was, brother, if you'd acted like you had some manners and wasn't trying to fulfill your conversation with everybody in the place, it might not have gone down that way.
Yeah.
Then sometimes, it did it wrong. There's no excuse for that. And I saw it with my own two eyes, So I don't get all upset about these kind of things unless just what got done has absolutely no excuse.
Mm-hmm.
I go out to a lot of restaurants around here, and sometimes the matter is people are sitting there and saying, dang, brother, can you sort of put a chill on that,
Right.
I understand you think it's funny, but, you're on the far side of this restaurant. You have to laugh so loudly that I can hear it all the way out in the parking lot. And, of course, if anything happens, somebody's done wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But then I've seen people do some reasonable stuff, and somebody wanted to get ugly with them. You can't account for people. People come in all different varieties. But I think one of the things we have to do is if we're going to do some things, they have to be a little bit more deliberate. There might be effectiveness when you deliberately set somebody up to do something that they ought not do. If you're trying to make a coherent point.
Mm-hmm.
What do they say? All's fair in love and war.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see that, but I'm not too happy with some of this spontaneous nonsense that just gets out of hand and everybody wants to make a big deal out of it, particularly when it's only the use of language. It's like if you feel totally insulted by the person, bust him right in his mouth and say you couldn't help it. You just went temporarily crazy because he used the term fighting words.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw red when he said those things. Ordinarily, under the First Amendment, you can say whatever you want to. But now, if you call somebody the N-word, that's okay. But if you call somebody fag or queer or something like that, they want to put you in jail for a hate crime.
Right.
It's not properly done, and it's not even-handed.
Right, Judge.
Or locking somebody up because he calls the police Nazis. Now, that is a travesty.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, but
the process.
Like you said, though, a lot of these cases that happen, the news is cherry picking what they want the people to know about. There's so much stuff going on.
Yes.
But with the social media too, that's another way to reclaim the narrative. Because a lot of these cases would not even got any coverage. It wasn't for the social media people just using their platforms to tell their groups about it, and they pass it along. So I mean, even with Trayvon Martin case, they didn't pick up steam until the social media people got involved with.
No, and then see stuff like Anderson Cooper.
Yeah.
They asked Trayvon's mother to please not reveal that grandfather was a lieutenant detective with the Miami Police Department. That would have put a different spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
Granddad is a detective. Oh, no, this isn't just any kid coming out the hood playing thug, you know?
Right.
Why did he ask you that? Well, he said it would diminish the public interest in the case. Oh, what he means is the ratings might not have been as good.
Man, that's just something.
If you want to check out Anderson Cooper, I peeped him one time before I separated from my now last ex-wife. She used to record all that housewife stuff. So they would have all of the recap on all of the Atlanta housewives. They'd get with the housewives of New Jersey and all that stuff. And they would have all of the super flaming gay executive producers just prancing around, and they'd have Anderson Cooper with an open collar shirt just fanning away with his left wrist.
Man,
he truly is.
Yeah. This is like, man, yeah. But it's they normalizing a lot of this stuff, man. A lot of stuff, this has been considered like some crazy stuff 50 years ago. The stuff they allow. I mean, even when you look at Milton Berle and all them guys, Flip Wilson? The black comedian, like he dressed up as Geraldine or whatever. That was in a comedic context.
Yeah, but I still worry about it. A lot of back then were just as flame as otherwise. I remember Raymond St. Jacques used to be tall, brother, played in these black exploitation movies. I've seen him walk around in high heel pumps and rouge, eyeshadow, lipstick, mascara, hoop earrings, and a wig on.
Wow. With
Billy D on his arm.
Wow.
That was back early 70s.
Remember out in public, or they were doing some type of movie or TV show?
Well, no, up in some of those parties.
You hear Billy D. Williams, the ladies' man? The original captain, whatever, from Star Wars. So he is pansexual. Man, that's crazy. It's like Eddie Murphy or Teddy Pendergrass. All them guys got caught with some trans or cross-dressers or whatever. So that's just part of the culture that in order to make it, you got to go that way.
Yeah, and Eddie got picked up in the back seat with male prostitutes, not on one time, but on two separate occasions.
This is Eddie Murphy?
Yes.
Well, at least Hugh Grant got caught with a black woman, Divine Brown. I remember that. I ain't gonna never forget. At least she was a real woman.
No, I didn't say female prostitutes. I said male prostitutes.
Oh, Eddie. Okay. Wow.
On more than one occasion.
See, I heard some things about Eddie. Like, one guy he got caught with dying some type of weird way, falling from a window or something. The guy got caught with one time who was dressed in drag or whatever. But I just guess this is par for the course. I mean, like, Sugar Ray Leonard, he said he got raped by his boxing trainer when he was a teenager, I believe, training for the Olympics. Not the Olympics, I don't know when, but as a teenager, his trainer took advantage of him. Have you heard that story?
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, he came out about that, I guess, doing that Penn State thing with the coach Paterno and his assistant and all that crazy stuff going on at Penn State, with them taking advantage of children. But he said that his trainer...
Who was that came out and said this?
Oh, Sugar Ray Leonard, the boxer. He said that his trainer took advantage of him when he was training as, a teenager. He's one of the greatest boxers.
I don't know why he would come out and say that. Man, that's the kind of thing.
You should keep to yourself, or...
I wonder, people that they have no shame.
I mean, I guess you're trying to show that it can happen to anybody. Like, people talking about, I guess, the children who taken advantage of by this, by Paterno's assistant and former player. And I guess if it can happen to Sugar Ray Leonard, like okay, the Terry Crews. I saw his testimony in Congress before Dianne Feinstein, the senator for California. And he talking about how the dude held his manhood for about minutes. He didn't say a moment. He said minutes. And I'm saying he held it for minutes. I thought it was like a couple of seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like, you said minutes. I don't know, man. I appreciate him being honest, I guess, and everybody else coming forward with their stories, but you know they do hold your balls for like minutes. I'm like, well, okay.
I don't have anything to say.
Like I thought it was like a second. I'm like, man, what? But I don't know, man. It's a different type. Cause he said the reason his thing was that I'm a big black man, and people already think that big black men are scary. That's why I didn't react. Because he asked him why he didn't respond in a different way, and he said, well, because I'm a big black man, and people got stereotypes about big black men, and he come from Flint, Michigan, and a lot of black men didn't make it, black boys didn't make it where he came from, so he didn't want to lose his opportunity. But like I remember you saying back in December, hey, just get a job. Why you need to be here? It's like with the Me Too stuff, a lot of people, they consented into doing things with these powerful men. And now they're saying that it was foul play. And when you consented to being, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of these people did things with these powerful men for jobs and favors. And that's the culture. So how are you going to reverse engineer the culture like that when y'all playing that game? How are you going to change the rules of the game while you in the process of playing that game?
Well, let's put it this way. I can remember a board meeting when I was standing up on a conference table on a pair of cowboy boots trying to stuff the hell out of the table and telling the CEO to bring his ass back here so I could put my foot up his behind.
Wow.
But he'd probably enjoy it too much, and fuck all of you. Excuse my language.
No, go ahead.
That word, all of you, I quit.
Wow.
Now bring your behind over here so I can kick it.
Were you ever invited back to the office again?
Well, that was after the second year of the show.
Wow.
And I stayed for 13 more years, and they all got fired.
Ain't that something? But you stood up for yourself. You wouldn't have put your career on the line to stand up for your manhood, to protect your manhood.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't have any sympathy for these folks talking about I always wanted to do this, and I just felt I couldn't say anything because of my career goals. No, hell, you always can say something. Look at the kamikazes attacking the Sixth Fleet in World War II.
Man, it's like, Judge, you just give us something to think about, because I keep on thinking, like, all these people like to make deals, like, is it worth the fame and fortune if you lose your own identity, if you lose who you really are at the core? If you compromise who you are, is it worth it? So I even look at Roseanne's situation and all this stuff. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. You ever do this again, I'm going to bust you right in your mouth, wherever we may be standing.
I think people respect that when you stand up for yourself. Like you said, we as a people never really stood up for ourselves. We always want to lay down and forgive the enemy and turn the other cheeks. Whatever those cheeks may be, we want to turn them. But
I remember I took the big boss man in the number one Hollywood public relations firm, told him he was a lying sack of shit. You told him that in person on the phone, Jay. To his face. Wow. It probably turned him on, though. It probably got him off. Oh, Judge. Yeah, but, they were trying to jack me around, get part of my money. I was supposed to get a percentage of it. And I'd actually gone and paid for my own PR to be done. And they were trying to claim stuff that I set up. In other words, I actually talked to the person to set the thing up. That's you lying through your teeth, because I did that. You had nothing to do with it.
And with the person, what was his response?
I think that's why they try to blackball me, but I didn't play that.
No, you just told straight shooter.
I'm not gonna be nice to you.
Yeah. So I think a lot of us need to hear this type of stuff, because a lot of us we compromise for nothing. Like if you suffering, if you already catching hell, there ain't no point in you compromising on everything. There ain't no point in you just letting somebody have their way with you.
And then, hey, you really would look bad if a old man playing, a reality role of himself busted you in your mouth and broke your jaw doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You go report it. and be embarrassed forever.
Well, it is what it is. But I just, it is fascinating. Like even it's just interesting. Like even this generation of children now. Like I heard about several cases of people that I know who friends or family have committed suicide. Their children have committed suicide over cyberbullying. And I said, bully's always been around, but I don't know. Just turn off the TV. Just turn off the computer. Turn off your smartphone. I guess, but people don't know how to deal with this.
How the hell can you get bullied by online? What the hell is that? I don't get it. What did they tell us when we were coming along, and even your generation? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Yeah.
Goodness, they never would have survived where they used to run the dozens when I was growing up. That was number one sport. Hey, man, I don't want to say nothing, man. Your mama's so big, man. She can't get in the bathtub, but with one drop of water, that's all that won't splash out.
Hello, Judge. You're true about that. And so what has happened? Is it because of people are saying these children say they allergic to this living. They're allergic to everything now. I don't know if it's the food or is like what's going on with the environment. What is happening?
Right. The police, the teachers, and the parents are supposed to protect them from bullies. In my day, probably yours too. You got told, bully ran you home, I'm going to run your ass back home. Give me my bill.
You got to stand up for yourself. Bullies are necessary, though. You need bullies. You need bullies to force you to either be who you are or to retreat from that and just accept who you are. I mean, you need bullies. I know it sounds weird for a lot of people to hear that, but you need to help bullies.
Yeah, and it's like, see, that's one problem we got as black folks, is we got this idea that you can't be a real man unless you look like a thug.
Right.
That is totally erroneous. I can remember I was in Harlem some years back, and they had me talking to some thugs, some gangsters there. And I was talking to them about this one subject right there. I said, you don't have to look like a thug to be a man. Well, man, you can't be no man unless you look like man. So I said, well, there's somebody in this room that's a stone cold killer. I don't want any of you to come in here and talk about, yeah, man, you got your bones, because you'd be a fool to tell me. Somebody in here may be listening to you. I tell one man in here got his bones. Right now, they say he killed at least 18 folk. Maybe 26 of them, depending upon how you count it. Killed 26 folk. They couldn't guess who it was. The person that I was talking to was a retired professor emeritus from New York University. He was Captain Roscoe Brown of the Tuskegee Airmen. Retired as Professor Roscoe Brown. Now that they've got computers going over the actual Luftwaffe records, they're showing him to be the second highest scoring U.S. Army Air Force ace in Europe in World War II.
Wow.
Flew out of Italy. So I just said, Professor, would you step up? He had on a suit and tie. He was sharp. He said, you killed 15. He said, the latest totals up to 26. Some of them had more than one man in it. So he did it at 35,000 feet. Below zero at 400 miles an hour.
Wow.
Man shot down two jet planes, first two. Only American pilots who shot down two.
Wow.
So talk to him about killing somebody, but he's a professor, sir. Stone cold killer. You got these things.
He was mal-mannered too. He's a very patient, mal-mannered guy, quiet and reserved.
Yeah, you want to talk some smack? This man here, and he did it he was at 35,000 feet with 50 caliber machine guns versus 20 millimeter cannon. He went at it. Hey, now what you got to say? You think everybody got to look like a thug if they're going for it. You don't know what somebody can do. See, the man with a suit and tie on is wearing urban camouflage.
Urban camouflage. Yes, sir.
And I used to tell thugs all the time, look. I'm the judge. I got your case. I'll put you on probation, but let me just talk some reality to you. A cop would have a hard time talking probable cause if he's trying to jack somebody around with a suit and tie on.
Mm-hmm.
Run around here with your pants all sagged and bagged, talking about you gonna do something. That's like a flag get your behind pulled over anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Or stopped, and you don't even have to do anything. Well, they ain't got no right. Well, yeah, but you look like you gonna do something.
Wow. Yeah, we need some man training bad, Judge. We generation losing out, man.
See, and then you want to talk about, yeah, man, it's Black Mafia. Do you look like the Mafia? These dudes wear suits and ties like they're businessmen.
Right.
What the hell do you look like? Like you ought to be pushing a grocery basket with some lawn bags in it.
Wow. Yeah, you tell it like it is, boy. You ain't gonna pull no punches. That's right. That's funny. And I guess thank you so much for your time. And also, I just want to know, I send you a happy early birthday shout out. I mean, it's a blessing to have you around, Judge, for as long as we have you around. And the things you have done, throughout your career, being a true servant of the people. And I just hope that you have a great day on your birthday, which is July the 5th. So how you plan to celebrate your birthday?
Well, let's see. I had some plans. I got to see if they come through.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see, one way or the other.
Well,
anyway, yeah. I don't celebrate birthdays. I celebrate anniversaries now.
I heard that.
Such and such anniversary of my 21st birthday.
Okay, gotcha. Well, we're happy that we're glad we wish you many more anniversaries of your birthday, and I hope that you have a great one because you're very deserving. Like I said, people really enjoy your commentary on here, Judge. Like, people are learning a new side about you beyond your TV show, and it's very refreshing. And what I'm understanding from when I interact with people in the public as well as online, that what you're saying is very much needed and is needed to be heard by young people because they're not getting this type of information at home, let alone school.
Well, it is what it is. But, thank you for the birthday salutations, young brother. But, have a great day. I'm out of here. The judge has a few things to do the rest of the day.
Right. I understand. You got to take care of yourself. And, Judge, we can reach you on Twitter, right, at Judge Joe Brown TV?
Judge Joe Brown TV. That's me, even if there's no blue check.
That's right. And people are surprised when I tell them that you respond back to people. You actually, communicate and connect with your audience and your fans and whatnot.
Well, yeah, it's funny with Twitter, you get enemies on Twitter, trolls and everything else, which kind of is funny. Somebody even tried to crack on me about it. I said, I had to sit in one back. I said, look, are you trying to say that you equate being white with being the only straight somebody? So if you black, you are gay? It's like, what's wrong with you? It's just like, so in other words, if somebody is straight, they're supposed to be white. Yeah, you talking all that stuff about being straight. You must be a white boy. So what?
Wow. Really? You know about the Greeks and the Romans at all? Back in the ancient days?
Actually, you know what? It used to be a felony punishable by death to engage in that in Rome.
Really? Well, yeah. So many cats did it. I mean, some of the powerful men, right?
They did it, but powerful people did it, but it was against the law. It was a death penalty.
Wow. Oh, well.
The Romans, anyway. For the Greeks, it was a keep down the population thing.
But it is. I mean, it's not reproducing. You got to recruit in order to survive. So it's even not natural.
The Greeks did it because they wanted to keep their population down.
Mm-hmm. It is a form of population control. Yeah, it is.
Rocky, hilly place, not much arable land, so hard to grow enough food.
Well, I know Greeks been having their economic crisis for the last, over a decade now, right? I mean, young people taking to the streets has not really been reported upon in this country. But
yeah, well, they have a lot more people there than they used to, and it used to be overcrowded several thousand years ago.
Wow. So much to learn. So much research to understand. Well, thank you, Judge, so much once again for sharing your wisdom, knowledge, expertise, and most importantly, also your time with us. In the words of Great Theologian, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing.
All right, brother. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
I will. Take care, sir. God bless.